Here we go. Hi, everyone. This is Nancy Joe, and it is October 11th, right smack dab in the middle of our wonderful selling season. And I'm just talking about the book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. I'm doing this with my Way to Grow group. I'm doing it with my director team. I really feel it's an important book because it's about personal growth. And did you get the email from Barb about Bridge the Gap worksheet? Did anybody get to do that? I know I just sent it yesterday, but that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. The first chapter is on the laws of intentionality. And a lot of times we have great intentions, but until we put some action to it, nothing happens, okay? Absolutely nothing happens. So growth doesn't just happen. It says, life is now in session. Are you present? And I really like that because there's lots of times where, I'll get up in the morning and I'll make a list and I'll get my to-do list and it'll be great and I'll get a lot accomplished. And then there's other days where I feel like, what happened to today? Is anybody with me? Anybody?
Yes.
Jen, did you, by the way, Jen, did you get to go to the retreat this weekend?
Yes, I was there. Yes.
Oh, good. Was it phenomenal? I'm going to want you to share some things if you don't mind.
No.
Did anybody else on this call get to go?
I'm sorry, what?
Did anybody else on the call get to go?
Oh.
Okay. And I know, this is the middle of selling season and people are busy and it's, they've just gotten home from Columbus Day weekend and all that kind of good stuff, but there's never a great time to do a phone call. There's never a great time for a meeting. Anybody with me? So I'm glad you're here. I am recording this, so hopefully there'll be some interaction. But how are you feeling about the way things are going right now with your business? Anybody want to chime in? Anybody?
I'll be brief.
Okay. Go ahead. So go first.
This is Fran Jones. I could be putting a whole lot more into it than I am. I will admit that. And I know the possibilities are there. Just need to put the action to do it.
Okay. So, Fran, when you say that, what do you think you could do differently? And I'm not
follow up more on my contact list and follow up my past posts and things like that, and my customers, those that have shown interest. And like we've been in contact with each other. I need to keep calling until I get that 15th phone call when there actually is a message saying to me they don't want me to call them anymore. But I'm not quite there yet.
And you know what? I text people if they don't answer the third phone call. I text them and say, this is Nancy Joe Ryan with the Pampered Chef. I'm trying to get a hold of you. Janet, can you push your screen down just a little bit? We can only see you from your nose up. I want to see your whole face. If you can. I think she left us. Anyway, sometimes, here's a tip. When you're at your show, I do an interactive show around an island, and I like to say I'm large margin in charge, okay? And I'm the recipe reader. And so what I do is I tell people how to use the products, or sometimes I show them the first step, and then I have them do it. But I'm in the middle of all the action, okay? And I try not to cut chicken. I try to have that kind of stuff done ahead of time because of the bacteria issues. You know what I mean? I just let them know what I did. Or if at the most, I'll do the close and cut. When I show that, I sell that. I don't know about you guys, but it is so worth saving one of the chicken breasts or some cherry tomatoes or grapes or whatever you've got. Just bring a little bag and show them what it does. I sell that thing. It's a $26 item. And I just let them know that instead of getting half of the bagels for the same amount of money, you can take the big bagels and make them skinny bagels by cutting it twice. Does everybody know you can do that? Cut it once, half, and cut it again. And so, those little flats that you get, they're a skinny bagel. You get literally half the amount for the same dollar amount, half the amount of sandwiches. So good, Janet's back. I didn't chase her away.
I couldn't find my volume.
Oh, okay. Janet, turn your screen down just a little bit. All I can see is your face. There you go. Now we can see your face. There you go. So anyway, you know, I just find that by energizing the group with the ideas that for the products that they're using, I sell more, I book more, and I recruit more. Okay. So, but after the demonstration part and they've got some food, we go into shop and share in a living room or wherever they want to gather. Sometimes it's right around that table and I just clean off my dirty dishes and we go to town. So anyway, during that time, I let them know that I would love to come to your home and do a party or a class. We're calling them parties or classes, not shows. Show is something you go and watch and you don't participate in. Okay, I'm gonna mute a few people here. Can you,
Still there? Oh, shoot. You still there, Nancy?
yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can, yeah.
Good. All right. So, so like I said, I go in and do shop and share. And one of the things I do is I have everybody get out their phone and I'll say, we're going to play a little game. And I want you to put in Pampered Chef, Nancy Joe, and then my phone number. And then I say, the first one that calls me gets a gift. You know, but I give them time to get it in there, and the first one that hits the button. The reason I tell them the reason I do that is because no one answers a phone call that they don't have a name associated with the number. So the sale doesn't end here tonight. I'm going to give you some customer care after the sale and some personal tips about the items that you bought. I would love it if you would answer my phone call. All right? Or text me back a better time. If you can't answer my phone call, please text me back a better time to call you, okay? I really want to make sure your products are working correctly in your kitchen and that you're feeling great about your purchase, all right? So please answer my phone call. When you do that, guys, they answer your phone call, all right? I try to make those phone calls between 12 and 1 in the afternoon. If you're on a lunch break, you can do that. Otherwise, you know, or in the evenings. I let people know I call between 8 and 9. Some Sunday nights I call, so I let them know when I'm going to call. And I just say I really respect how busy everyone is. Okay, we got somebody scratching here. I don't know who it is. Audio. I'm going to find you. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. Tanya, I think it was Fran. I think she was writing. So anyway, Fran, you can unmute whenever you want to talk, okay? So anyway, you know, really make sure you do that. And the other thing I do is I have them go to Facebook. If you have a Facebook account, go to your Facebook account and let people know you're at a party. Two things happen. First one that gets an order for Megan tonight. You know, I just had a show host named Megan. First one that has a show, first one that gets an order for Megan tonight will get a free gift. And you guys, I buy the old Season's Best, pan scrapers, quick cut paring knives, anything inexpensive, okay? And then I'll give them one. You know, you don't have, it doesn't have to be expensive. All right. And a lot of times we have a lot of these things sitting around. And so you just need to get them off your shelves and into people's hands because they did something. The other thing I do is I let them know that if you've got 3 or 4 orders, you're a perfect candidate to have a show. Why don't we do your own show? And by the way, the Facebook shows are going very well, the virtual shows. How many of you have done one of those? Anybody? Okay. And what's your experience?
Mine's been really positive. I haven't done the demonstrations. I don't do like the live and cooking and that, but I've been doing like, it's still the show set up as an event on
Yeah.
Facebook and run it for like a period of either a week, like a week and a half. And they've been positive, and it's easier for me sometimes with my work schedule because I'm sometimes not sure if I'm going to be traveling or not.
Sure.
So, and I can do those from anywhere. So when I do them, they've been successful for the most part.
Okay. And have you been getting bookings?
No, that I don't get too much bookings from. So that is one of the problems I'm having right now is I tend to have little like pockets of time where I'm not getting booking. But
Okay.
I got a lot of information over this weekend that I plan on implementing because that's basically the problem is I need to book from shows. So live shows are definitely much more productive and much more, I get a return on getting bookings out of live shows more so than I do from the catalog or the Facebook shows that I've been doing.
Well, what did they say about the Facebook show that you're going to do differently?
They didn't do a lot on Facebook shows this weekend. They were talking is Michael, who does a lot more of the live cooking shows. So I mean, yeah, we had 3 days of Michael. I mean, how could you not get so much out of that?
Oh,
He himself was talking about the fact that he doesn't do the virtual shows, and he's going to be learning more about them so he can be implementing them and doing them as well. But obviously, he has a very aggressive show schedule. And
don't fix what isn't broken, Michael.
Oh my God. that boy is magic. And he shared more about what he was doing. And so a lot of the training this weekend, there wasn't much with the virtual and the Facebook. They talked about some of the interaction you could do on Facebook and everything else, but there wasn't a lot regarding the Facebook shows and virtual shows this weekend.
Okay.
So I got a lot more out of what I need to do with Out and About and just incorporating charitable work into our business, and also with just cooking shows, how to basically not make things less difficult than I have done, basically with the host packets, what I've been doing for host packets and things like that.
So what did they say about the host packets?
I still kind of still doing like, the guest special, like my host packet had printed out outside order forms. I had catalogs in it. I had, the whatever marketing literature we had for the recruiting thing, like the new one. I forget what it's actually called, but like the Grab a Spoon one that has the kids. I had a lot of stuff in my packets, and I would change them up for each month and make them up each month. Tiffany had mentioned last year that she has a timeless one, and I'm like, I need to do that. I need to just basically have something that I don't have to worry about incorporating all these things. And I was still working more old school in that respect. And Michael made a comment, the fact that he has in his host packet 3 catalogs. He never gives them more than 3 catalogs. Kit coupon, and I believe like maybe the recruiting literature, and that's it. And then they email the host special and the guest special and the outside order form thing to them. And if they want to use that, then they can print that out and use it themselves. But you're that way everything's done, ready to go. And they put the 6 of them on the table, in the room, or at the beginning of the show, and explain to them as they book where they want to book their own show to grab one of those packets and bring it up to them so you can get their show on your calendar and everything. But that way you have the host packets are made up. You're not trying to do special ones per month, special ones per each host and everything.
And you're not
ready to go. And you're not mailing them either. They're leaving with the host packets.
Yep. And I always, believe it or not, have 6 all together with me.
Yep.
And I bring in 3.
Expectation when you put out 6 of them, they were like, oh, that's what she usually gets at every show. So you're kind of raising the bar with your expectations as to what you come away from with each show.
Well, I leave 3 in the car. I bring 3 in. Okay. Yep. I do use the new folder.
Yep.
I love those.
Love that new folder. I've been using them, and that's what
I love those.
Get on.
Good.
Things right there. Well done.
I do put a couple of sales receipts in because some people are old school. And so some people like a little bit of that. I do put a packet of the invitations in, but I do have to say I mail invitations, but they have extra ones that she can hand out or he can hand out. And what I'll do is I'll ask them to have that out, the folder out the night of the show. And if there's extra materials that they're not going to use in there, I just take them and recycle them. I don't, of course, recycle the folder because it's got their name on it and stuff like that. But I tell them to keep their receipts in there, and they can keep it with their cookbooks or whatever. Okay. But I do think being prepared saves you money. Because if you don't have to mail that,
Yeah.
there's only about $2.50, $3 worth of merchandise in there, you know, that if you had to replace it. And I've had even people send them back to me. So, you know, people feel bad when they don't hold. Okay. You know what I mean? Because, well, first of all, I don't ask everyone to host a show, or excuse me, a class or a party. But I really get the people who really want to do it, and they almost never cancel. I mean, if I have one cancellation in a year, that's it. I mean, I'm not doing 2 shows a week, 3 shows a week like Michael is, but at the same time, the people that want to book, they really want to book. And I think that having a great show with great selling skills and having enough stuff, but yet not too much. I try to only go in with 2 trips. I was just telling someone today at a meeting that I take my rolling tote, you know, my rolling thing that we got from Pampered Chef my rolling cart that we got from them a long time ago. And then I'll bring my little stiff-sided bag with all my paperwork stuff, catalogs, freebies, my gloves, you know, if there's any, my cash bag, if there's any fresh food, it's in there. I always know it's in there. And then I bring the polka dot bag, because that really can hold a lot and it doesn't weigh anything and you can throw it over your shoulder. And that's what I walk up with. And then I go back for my cart. Because, you know, I don't want them to see me struggling, you know, while trying to walk in the door. But that little polka dot bag really can hold a lot of bulky stuff that isn't, you know, too heavy, of course. But it really holds a lot of stuff, you know. And then I sell those, believe it or not, because I bring them with me. And because I talk to people about them. And I say, and this is true story, in the past month and a half, I know of 2 little ones who have gotten hand, foot, and mouth disease, that virus, and the doctors all think it's from the carts. Okay, now it's my friend in Pennsylvania or in Montana, and then my other one, her little one, right here in Lockport. But it's like, oh my gosh, that's so gross. So if that is on there for little ones, it's on there for us too, you know. And I'm always doing with the wipes and everything, but this is on the back of the cart, you know what I mean? And I put 2 of them in, and I have a 3rd one that I have her start bagging stuff in, because I feel like, you know, by the time I get the one done, you know, it's just a rotating thing. But it's really easy to carry in the house then as well. But for little ones, I'm just really kind of freaked out about it. I mean, I don't have any more little ones that I bring. My grandkids are all there. Well, the little ones are away. So anyway, but I just think if you have some of that stuff, they will buy it. Now I did a show on Friday night last week and Sunday. And I have to tell you that the gal on Sunday, she had a show a couple of years ago, and she said that she didn't want me to talk too long, and she wanted me to do this and to do that, and she gave me this whole list, you know, and I said, okay, you know, I'll try to meet your expectations, you know. And then as I was leaving, I put my last bag in the car, and she said, I just want to thank you. She goes, this has been I was there at 11:30 and I was driving away at 2:30, so I wasn't there too long, and could have been out of there a few minutes earlier if more people would have gotten on the stick to order. But I was waiting for them. But she said, oh my gosh, you brought so much more than the last gal did, and you gave us so many tips and ideas. That is essential to a good show. Do you guys know that? The tips and ideas that you give people is what sells them on you. It makes you special. When you're giving those tips, now not too many, because I really do set a timer, because I can go on and on, as you can tell. But I really make sure that they go on there without, if they don't buy a thing, I want the last 2 hours to have been valuable to them. Does that make sense? I really want them to say, boy, I got encouraged in my kitchen, in my family, etc. So what are some of the tips that you guys share at your show? Think of one of your favorite products.
Garlic press. Having fresh pressed garlic instead of getting it out of the big jar.
Awesome. So do you press a garlic at every show or talk about it?
I do press the garlic at every show. I do have it with me.
Awesome. Awesome. And the other thing I let people know about the garlic press is there are some garlic, elephant garlic, that's sold right now in stores, and we get the really, really big bulbs because we feel like we're getting a lot for our money. When we have those, make sure that you just cut that in half. Because even though our hopper is one of the very best out on the market, biggest out on the market, still some of those, you're going to struggle with it. So I don't want you to struggle with it. And by the way, you want to buy your garlic just like you want your husband's shorts. White and tight, okay? You want that garlic clove to be nice and tight and really white, okay? And someone told me that. I don't have a husband anymore, so I can't say anything. But needless to say, they love that little thing. And so he says, now you're going to always remember me saying white and tight when you when you go to pick out your garlic, you know. And little tips about mangoes. Do you know how to pick out a mango? Mm-hmm. Anybody want to share? Okay. With the mango, it's not the color. All right. It is because the green ones, or the yellow and green instead of yellow and red, that just means they're on the inside of the tree. They still can be as ripe as the ones that are yellow and red. This is a Hispanic man told me this. He said, don't be fooled by the color. They can be just as sweet. He says it's the pressure. It's just a little bit of pressure that you want to put on there. And then he said to smell it. Okay. And with an avocado, you want it dark green with a touch of black. If it's brown and black, it's overripe. If you can press and the indent stays, it's overripe. When they say ripe for tonight, don't buy it. It's dead for tonight, okay? What other little tips do you have about that you can share at a show?
Along the lines of the garlic, one of the things that Tiffany is the one that said the white, tight, and snug about the garlic.
Good.
She also mentioned one thing that I never knew is that good garlic should smell earthy, not like garlic when you're picking out your bulbs. Yeah, that's one of the things that she said. She sent us a link to this food tiptionary.
Okay.
And I guess there's a bunch of different things in there too or whatever else, but she said that's one of the things with garlic is it should smell earthy, not like garlic when you're picking out. And that's, I guess, how you know it's a good bulb of garlic.
Who knew? Okay.
Yeah, that was news to me. So I was like, that's my notes.
Okay. Fran, do you have something you want to share? Oh, let me unmute Fran. Hold on. Unmute.
Oh.
I got you, Fran.
Okay, you got me now?
Yep.
Oh, can you hear me now? Okay. Well, a few things I've done in the past is, I think with the cooling rack, people can put that over, instead of using, if they don't want to use any icing or anything, they can take the cooling rack and turn it, this is old school one, turn it upside down over the brownie or cake they've made, and then just sprinkle powdered sugar on it or something like that. Another tip that I've done with brownies is, for an easy recipe, but is take it's always a hit, Romos, and cut them in quarters and put them in the brownie so that's kind of like a added topping. But I know the one about the pineapple is that you probably, if you can pull the middle leaf out of the pineapple easily, then it's ripe for food. I'm not sure if anyone's ever heard that one before.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, I have too. I've heard that one also. But I have to say my son went to Costa Rica and he lived on pineapple and rice because he didn't eat any of the other things that they served him. Okay. He was on the science. It was in he was on a science trip, right? They were going to visit the volcano and all this kind of stuff. I can't even believe I let him go. Anyway, it was one of those stupid moments, those stupid mom moments. You want to be sure you can do that. There's 8 of them only. But and he said that there was only one room without cockroaches. I mean, it was. I said, "Oh, so you weren't in the resort side of the." Anyway, and he had one of the farmers there tell him that once a pineapple is picked, that's as ripe as it's going to get.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so they said that that when they get really, really yellow, they're actually starting to rot. Okay. So again, you know, I mean, that Tony said they were dark green, and they were cutting them up, and they were and the guy said, taste this, and then taste one that's yellow. You know, so but it does get softer, but it doesn't get sweeter or riper, is what the gentleman told my son, and that's what he does for a living. So, but I also let people know with our pineapple wedger to cut it in half, and cut the top and the bottom off, and then cut it in half, and it's easier for leverage. Okay, so that's a tip. What else? You guys think?
Okay. So dark green is the best, right?
Well, no, it's not that it's the best. It's just not any different. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's not any different. All right.
I saw something on YouTube. It was a gal who was making a meal with the stalk of broccoli and putting it through a veggie slicer. I'm sorry, the viral slicer, spiraling the core of the broccoli.
Ooh.
And yeah, so I don't know her name. If you YouTube, I think it was, and then she sauteed it with some other things. So if you go on to YouTube and look up spiralizing broccoli, you might be able to find her. I haven't tried it yet, but
that's
a good thing.
Was it Julie Gizzy?
Oh, could be, yes. That may have been her.
Okay, she's brilliant, and I want to say she's a vegan.
Yes.
So she just does tremendous things with vegetables. She gave another tip that I think is great. I'm so glad you brought that up. You know how we cut off the ends of things, potatoes and carrots and onions? If you wash peel your onions, of course, first, and then you have a little piece left, you have chunks of potato left, you have celery pieces, zucchini pieces, the ends of zucchini. If you wash it before you cut it, and then all your ends that you normally would throw out, you keep putting them into a Ziploc bag in your freezer. Julie taught us that once that bag is chock full, you put it in a big stock pot, and you boil water with all your vegetables, and you really reduce it, and then put it either in small containers, however you want to store it, but you make your own vegetable broth. And it's so good, and it doesn't have any sodium in it. Okay. And it's good because it's made with real vegetables. Now you have to have a large mix in there, because if you have too many carrots or too many something, it tastes like that more. But a true vegetable broth, it's a great way to do it. And I just think it's really, really fun. You only have to boil it for an hour or two, depending on how dense you want it, how condensed, I should say, you want it. Do you guys know about peppers?
No.
Peppers with 4 bumps are a female pepper. Peppers with 3 bumps are a male. And we have more bumps, and that's why the female has 4 bumps, okay? The female pepper is also sweeter to eat, just plain, without cooking, and the male is usually better to cook, okay?
Imagine that.
That's good to know.
Yeah, some heat under it, okay? Anyway, but, those are really fun. So the next time when you go to pick out peppers and you look at the bottom, you're going to know if it's male or female, whether it's one to be eaten. They can all be eaten, don't get me wrong, fresh. But the female are just a little sweeter, okay, whether it's yellow, orange, red, or green. So I just thought that was a fun one. And people look at you a little different when you're looking at the bottoms of your peppers, but just say, hey, if you only knew what I knew. Okay. What else? What else? Any other tips that you like to share?
I have one, Nancy Joe, for the can opener.
Okay.
Because inevitably, nobody knows how to work them.
Right.
And so that is one thing that I always make sure that they know how to do them. Use the can opener. I actually made a house call one time for a lady because she couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I've had people come over to the house too. Absolutely. Yep, I have too. What I also do is like I let them know that, for instance, olives. I always have olives left over, and you've got that juice. Instead of putting it into a container, you can pop that lid right back on. And my kids know if there's a can in the refrigerator, the top is open. That it's and
that's clever.
Yeah. So you don't even have to use, especially if you know you're going to use it. In a couple days. So easy to do. But yeah, the can opener is a great one. And I always say this is the reason you come to a Pampered Chef show, is because you're going to see things in action. And this is one of the tools I want you to see in action so you know how to work it when you get home. So that's good.
Tiffany mentioned this weekend, she mentioned the can opener, and she said one of the things that she explains it to people as is you go at the can like a helicopter. So it goes straight in onto the top rather than to the side, because it's the same thing. I always have it out at vendor fairs and vendor events like that too. So I bring it to my shows and I bring it to vendor events, just because most people are like, yeah, how do you use this? Or we have some, conversation. And I physically show her to explain it to people, but when she ever mentioned that, I'm like, oh, that's a good way for them to remember. She's like, just have them look at it like it's a helicopter and it lands on the can. She's like,
sure.
It goes away, and that's how you can do it. And I was like, oh, that's a perfect way for people to kind of like think about it in that respect too, when they're attaching it to the can.
Good. So you can get tips and ideas from almost anywhere, you guys. You can go to, like, I remember one lady said, I want to learn how to use my slow cooker. And this was, 20 years ago. I didn't know how to use, I had a slow cooker, but I didn't know anything more than putting it in the pot. I just spent 1 hour on the internet looking up information. There's a ton of information on any subject you ever could want to know about. And I put together a slow cooker show. And from that came soup, stews, and chili. Okay. Remember our cookbook? We had the cards first, and then we had a cookbook. That all came from me looking up on the internet and showing Pampered Chef that there was interest, which brings me to my next point. Is everybody familiar with the party packs that Pampered Chef has? You guys all know about them?
Yeah,
Pardon me? Say that again, Jen?
So they have a new cookie one out.
Yes. And they are fantastic, you guys. And everything.
I have really looked at.
Go ahead. Is that Fran?
No, it's somebody else.
Oh, okay. If you have not looked at them, I want you to take 10 minutes tonight and go onto the website and look at them and scroll down. And there's, we're going to send you some information on party packs, all the different ones. And then if you have a technical question, or if you have ideas for future party packs, what is a party pack, how I should use it, where I can find it. If you visit my show page to set up your party and create an e-invitation, how do I download a party pack on a PC, on a Mac, on mobile devices? You're going to get, this is going to be on the Facebook page tomorrow. Barb wrote up a whole thing on how to use it and how to work with it. But it's really, really smart, you guys. Now, you're not going to want to print these out because, quite honestly, they're very heavily, they're print heavy, okay? But if you have an iPad or if you have a laptop with you, you can actually, like with an iPad, you can just show all the different parties that you have to offer, all the different things. But it really is wonderful. And also there's going to be, how do I set up a Facebook event? That's, if you don't know, instructions are coming tomorrow, okay? I'm glad you guys are all familiar with the party picks, because I have to admit, before 3 weeks ago, I can't say I was, okay? And so I really I'm really excited about how easy Pampered Chef is making it to do business. Jen, we've got about 7 or 8 minutes left. What was your ahas this weekend?
It's a lot of them. One is just not, I'm going to stumble over myself, is was making things more difficult than I needed to in a lot of ways. And like I said, simplifying things, utilizing technology that's already out there that I haven't been utilizing. Vanessa, one of the directors, mentioned about, I guess there's where you can leave voicemail messages over Facebook to people in the Messenger app. And she said she's been getting more positive response from that because people are getting, they get a voicemail from you or hear your voice about excitement. So when you're calling, she messages her host that way and these messages for them in that respect.
Is that Vanessa
Boyle? Yes, Vanessa Boyle.
Okay.
So she's been using that. I haven't even looked at that, so I figured I'll check that out and use my daughter as a trial run to see how it works before I try to do that. But just ways, I know, I'm like looking through all my notes. There's so many different ways. Not being afraid to basically ask for the business, ask for referrals at the shows and things like that. I mean, I've been more intentional letting people know that I am trying to really push myself and get more shows on my calendar, get more team members and everything else, because I do want to walk away from corporate and do this. One of the things that they were talking about is I tended to say to people when they're like, only a few dollars away from $75 or whatever else, it was always like, oh, well, you could get this and like spend their money for them, like pick out the items that are only like a few dollars. And they basically said, like, don't spend their money, like tell them like, oh, even if they're like $20 away, you're $20 away from, and let them decide, because most often than not, they'll end up buying something more than $20 or they'll spend more than that. Like, don't minimize what they need to get. Like, if they're only a few dollars away, don't tell them, like, just get the emoji cookie cutters because those are $10. Let them figure out what they want, and they tend to spend their money. And there's wording in here as to how they did it, but it was just things like that I never really thought of. And I was like, oh, because I was always the one like, oh, well, these items are only $5 or these items are only this. I'm like, so
I had that very experience on Sunday. Someone was $6 away from the special.
Yep.
He ordered $26 worth, a $26.50 item.
And that's exactly, and that things like that. There's so many different things. And another thing too is what I'm trying to do now, and I'm actually, like, for the show I have on Friday, and then going forward is, not offering a bunch of different recipes. Like, I tended to do things the same way that I started doing them 6-7 years ago when I started. And Michael says he doesn't give his host choices. When he finds out how many people he has, then he's like, okay, I'm going to make this. But he goes, I only do like a few different recipes, and these are the recipes I'm doing. Not give them like 5 different party themes to choose from and a bunch of different recipes to choose from. Like, you were basically deciding the recipe for them and everything else. And so, like, just simplifying the fact that it's easier for me if I already have, like, oh, if I'm only going to do this recipe, I already have all that stuff put aside for myself, and like 3 different bags of all the products that I need for those recipes. So then I'm set for the season. I don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, they want me to make this now. I got to put all those things together and get that together and everything else. So I'm just trying to simplify it so I can get out of my own way and make it easier for myself. Yeah. Where I do work like about 50 to 60 hours a week sometimes. So I have to make sure when I do have a show, like I have one Friday night, that when I leave my house in the morning Friday to go to the office, that I already have everything to go and I don't have to worry about it. I can just go straight from the office to the show and I'm good to go. So
yeah, I have a list that is must-haves no matter what I'm making, and then I bring the products to what I'm making. So it usually, and I don't bring everything, you guys. I know Michael brings a lot.
Yeah. And I used to bring the world with me. I used to bring a lot of cookbooks with me because I'm one of those people that likes to look at the cookbooks. But my mom, I grew up with a mother in direct sales, and she basically told me the whole time, first few shows that she went with me because they were family members and stuff, and she's like, you got to be careful. You have to make yourself duplicatable because people are going to see you walking in with a bunch of different things and they're going to think to themselves immediately, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. and everything. So I
And it also looks really expensive.
Yes, and then as we got more to the point that let the book do it, like was it carry less, sell more type of mentality, and I started doing that more so to the point that I bring exactly what I need to for the recipe, and then I'll bring maybe like the specials for the next month, or like if the host asks for a few different things that they want to see, the veggie spiralizer, people constantly want to see that. Not incorporated into my recipe, I will bring that and we'll use a potato or something to demonstrate it. I try to literally go in. I have a wheelie thing too, and I try to go in one trip now. Like that, I have a bin and a couple things on that, and then a bag over my shoulder. I use the polka dotted shopping totes because I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
And they do sell when you bring them and show what they can carry. But I try to go in and like one trip, maybe go back out to get a small bag, and then people are always like, "Oh, that's it? That's all you're bringing in?" But then but then they saw everything they needed to. So I need to make it simpler for myself. So that's why I've been trying to have it to the point that if I only do 2 or 3 recipes a season, then I have like all the stuff put aside already for those recipes, and I'm good to go. I don't have to sit there and scramble through my kitchen trying to pull it out of the cabinets to get everything. And stuff.
Sure. So to simplify, you learn to simplify.
Yes, basically like being in charge of the business rather than letting everybody else dictate what I'm doing for recipes and just different things. Utilizing, I want to look into like Margo and some of those services like that, because I was, sending out all the invites and things like that when they wanted to, and wasn't necessarily a big deal because I don't have a really crazy show schedule, but at the same point in time, I like the idea of the Margo, and I like the idea of those invitations going out, things like that, being in touch. So I want to look into that service and check that out a little bit and stuff.
And did Tiffany talk about that one?
She didn't talk about it so much this time, but I learned about it last year, and that's what it's kind of always looked at. She touched upon it a couple times, and she actually sat at my table, so we talked about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that was it's a service a few other people have started to utilize and really love it. And every person I know that utilizes it has nothing but wonderful things to say about it. So
you know what it does for me, Jennifer, is it does things I never did before.
Yeah.
I never had a Facebook thing made up, a email, text, phone calling. I'll do 2 or 3 of them. And I will not do a show without sending out live invitations. Real invitations, happy mail. I won't even do a show that won't do that. Because to me, and I let people know, I've had people invite 300 people to a Pampered Chef show and 3 people show up. It happened once and only once. People like to get happy mail. It is a personal invitation. It means you're special. And I always tell people, if you put 40 names in there, I will. Some people have brought it down to 30, but whatever, 30 or 40, whatever you want, I will pay for that, the invitations, okay? Up to 50. Someone said today at the director meeting, up to 50. So make sure if you put 50 people in, or if you put 55, take 5 that you don't really think are going to order or come. So up to 50, but you guys, it's the best $20 I spend on postage, because when Margo sends out 40 invitations for me, I'm guaranteed $1,000 show. Okay. Now, I want you to know, Pampered Chef gave us some statistics about our personal teams when we were in for executive meeting. And my average person that on my team, the average number of guest orders is 7.6. I want you to know I have 13.6 on my shows. Okay. Now, I host coach like crazy. All right. That's one of the things. If I'm gonna do a show, I am going to host coach and do it really, really well. And I ask them for a 20-minute phone call to start. Everything else can be by text or email after that, if they want. But I need to talk to you for 20 minutes. So when do you have a 20-minute time frame you can give? Again, I won't do a show without it. All right. That's my way to connect with her and let her know I'm going to try and make this the best experience possible. But she only needs to do a few things to make it a successful night. Okay. I also let her know that I will never cancel a show, that I have people to back me up. she can know without exception, I've never canceled a show in 30 years. And I've gotten sick and I've had to send someone else, but I've never canceled a show. So I just think those are things that and maybe people don't cancel on me because I let them know I'm not going to cancel on her. You know what I mean? So I kind of handle that up front. I also know if people are coming to their home, they're not canceling. They're not canceling. Since I started sending out invitations, my party average went up $300 a night. So that is a minimum of what, $15 to $20 that I'm making more. Okay. No, I'm sorry, not 300 times 25, $75. It's $60 to $75 depending on how much I'm putting in. Is that $20 worth of postage worth it?
Mm-hmm.
75 more? 100%. 100%. You guys, I used to be an accountant and I'm very frugal. That's the best money I spend. Absolutely the best money. So I want to encourage you to do that. Now you have to get enough names and you don't have to do it. Stuff like through Margot, they'll do it for you. And to me, it's so, you guys think of how many times you spend $10 on nothing. This is going to help you have a very successful night. All right. So I know personally, I use that service too. Pampered Chef is getting better with what they have to offer, but it's not quite as thorough as Margot. So anyway.
One thing that they mentioned was just the fact that one of the things that I want to change in my habits with my show is when I talk about a product like the Double Burner Grill Pan, I always talked about everything that I do with it or what I utilize it for, like from, breakfast through dinner to desserts and things like that. And one of the things we did like a round robin where the directors moved around the room and talked to different people and groups of us. And one of the things they were talking, and I can't remember who it was exactly, but the fact of more of turn everything back to the person, like basically be like, Nancy Joe, if how would you use this pan? Like, so you're automatically painting the picture of it in their kitchen or with the rock crock or just different things as to the ways that they would utilize this. Like, what would they use? What would they be making with it if they had it in their kitchen and things of that nature? So turning it on them so they can already start visualizing themselves utilizing these products in their home rather than having it be the focus be on you and how I'm using the products and what I'm doing is more what they would be doing it for. So.
Awesome. Hold on. Let me turn off my alarm here. Okay. I have another call in 10 minutes. So does anybody else have anything that they would like to add, things that they're doing that are really making a difference?
I'll let you know tomorrow, after tomorrow.
Okay. Well, you can put it on the Facebook. Because
the show tomorrow night.
Good. I want you to
see vendor shows this weekend.
Oh, good. Get this book, 15 Laws, you guys, and I want you to put in from the first chapter. I sent you or there's going to be a form tomorrow on the Facebook page about the identifying the gaps, the assumption gap, the knowledge gap, the timing gap, the mistake gap, perfection gap, the inspiration gap, the comparison gap, and the expectation gap. These are all gaps that we get into ruts and we feel these things and it's hard for us to get out of them if we don't have a strategy for bridging the gap, okay? One gal said today that the assumption gap, I assume I will automatically grow, okay? Well, nobody grows without putting effort in. No one does, okay? And she said something that she changed is she made 10 minutes of customer care calls a day. Now, she said that doesn't sound like much, but that was 50 minutes at the end of the week more than I was doing before, okay? So she said, and then I put that principle to exercise, and then I put that principle to organizing my kitchen or cleaning my kitchen. She goes, I'm doing it in 10-minute increments, and I know that it's going to get better and better and better. I'm going to go to 15 minutes, or I'm going to do 10 minutes twice a day, or I'm going to do at my lunch break and my afternoon break. She said, if you just do things in small bits of time that you're never getting to, it's amazing what will happen. So,
What's the
anyway,
name of the book, Nancy Jo?
the name of the book is
I missed that first part. So what is this? It's a book club?
The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, John Maxwell. And you can download it for free. Look on the Facebook page and scroll down. There is an actual website. You can just download it if you don't want to buy it. I personally am highlighting it like crazy, okay? You know, it's a book about personal growth. It's not necessarily about our business or this business or whatever. It's about personal growth. And when we grow personally, we get more confident in what we're having to offer people and what we're doing. And so I really highly recommend it. And John Maxwell is probably my favorite business author. I love The Slight Edge too. If you haven't read The Slight Edge by Joel Osteen, Rory Vaden's Take the Stairs is also good, but I really like The Slight Edge even better than Rory Vaden's book, okay? The Slight Edge talks about people that are doing the same thing as someone else, but doing it just a little bit more or just a little bit longer or just making one extra phone call. If your goal is to make 3 phone calls, making 4, and how that little slight edge is making all the difference in the world. So, so anyway, I'm going to let you go so I can go to the restroom before I have my 8 o'clock phone call. But I wish you all the best. This is harvest time, you guys. Anything you want to change, you can change right now. So do it. Get on it. Get your show. Someone told me today that was struggling with booking. She did a vendor event, and she's got 6 shows on her calendar for November. She's so excited. To go from 0 to 6 is huge. And if she can get 2 shows from each of those shows, she's set. Okay? So that's what her goal is. That's what your goal should be. Give your host an extra something. And by the way, someone said they talked about the specials. I never, ever talk about specials. You guys sell the host program, not the specials. You fill in the dates that you want filled, not when because you know what? They can get anything for free or half price any day of the year, okay, by hosting a show. Every item in our catalog, okay? So 10% more is not worth doing your show schedule, all right? 10% is not worth it. And don't start talking about January till December is filled. I encourage you to have a power week or 2 weeks where you book 4 shows in 2 weeks' time or 4 shows over 10 days' time, and then take the rest of the month off, okay? Give yourself that gift. But you need to have shows in December to have a January or February. Don't miss out. Don't miss out on all those sales. So, and I really encourage you to have a website for all those leads. If you don't have a website, you're missing out on money. So, okay, guys, thank you so much, and we'll talk again next month, okay? God bless you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.